I'm Ashley Hawkins, and I'm the manga librarian. And today we are talking about light novels. I have talked about light novels in the past, but I wanted to update what I had to offer and just kind of talk a little bit more about them and give some more information. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, we're going to talk about, first off, what light novels are. Second off, why they appeal so much to young people. Third, who publishes light novels. And fourth, maybe just talk about a few titles that you should be aware of. So, yeah, that's the outline for what we're going to talk about. And let us begin. So, light novels, or raito noberu, is a style of Japanese young adult novel, primarily targeting high school and middle school students. They have about 50,000 words in them. They are short novels. It's a wasai igo, or a Japanese term formed from words in the English language. It's basically called a light novel because it's supposed to be light. It's light in your hands, easy to pick up, keep in your bag, take with you. And they're usually published in what's called bunkoban size. That's about the size of an A6 piece of paper, which is about 10.5 centimeters by 14.8 centimeters, and they have very dense publishing schedules. Light novels are commonly illustrated in the manga art style. A lot of manga artists will pick up some side work doing character designs and illustrations for light novels, and they are often adapted into manga and anime. While nowadays most light novels are published primarily as just books, some have their chapters serialized in anthology magazines similar to manga. In Japan, light novels actually are the evolution of pulp magazines. In the 1970s, most of the pulp magazines put illustrations at the beginning of stories, and included articles about popular anime, movies, and video games, and narratives were kind of formed to please the general audience, and it just kind of evolved from there because as anime and manga proceeded to be more and more popular, that became the popular illustration style to accompany pulp stories, and then there was just this natural evolution. And the popular serials began to be published into novels, and the cheap bunkoban style of publishing was the best for these highly densely published stories that are coming out on a regular basis. Light novels have a reputation for being mass-produced and disposable. A light novel is typically about 540 yen in Japan. Prices differ depending on publisher and series. There's a very extreme example of Kazuma Kamachi, who wrote a novel a month for 2 years straight. So light novels come out way, way faster than young adult novels here in the West. So, a popular YA novelist here in the United States will probably publish a book every 1 to 2 years. And the trend in YA publishing is often to publish like big books that are 500 pages or more. That is not the trend for light novels. Light novels are typically much, much shorter and much more easily digested. And they are coming out probably about 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year. Usually not monthly. That is an extreme example. And one of the side effects of such a punishing publication schedule is that author turnover rate can be very high. There are authors who persist for many, many years, but there are other authors who eventually go on to do other things or just leave writing altogether. So often what happens is that publishing companies will constantly search for new talent with annual contests. So contests are a very popular thing. And the contests will have a cash prize, and then their novel will get published. And the biggest of these is the Dengeki Novel Prize, and it usually has about 7,000 submissions annually. In 2009, light novels made 30.1 billion yen in sales, and that's about 20% of all sales of bookabon format paperback books in Japan. And that's a pretty big market share. So it's a pretty popular method of publication in Japan. There's money invested into it. Light novels are often the progenitor for big series that are turned into manga, anime, video games. So the series Sword Art Online, that began as light novels and now is its own kind of media empire. The mark of success for most light novels is whether or not they become kind of these multimedia franchises. But not all light novels do this, and there are many genres of light novels. Right now, the most popular genre of light novel is isekai, and every time isekai feels like it is going to finally start dying, it just picks right back up. So isekai is a genre wherein the main character is transported into another world. Frequently in modern or in current trends, the character dies in the modern world and is transported to usually a fantasy-based world. And often there are really ridiculous circumstances to their reincarnation. Isekai itself is almost its own industry at this point, and it is kind of the dominating force for light novels. Most of what we get translated are isekai light novels, but those are not the only light novels that exist. There are light novels in every genre of fiction. Just like there are YA novels of every genre of fiction that exists, but for whatever reason, fantasy kind of has dominated for many years. There are other types of light novels. There are science fiction, there's romance. Romance is actually a pretty big one. There's boys love or boys rabu, girls love. We unfortunately do not get much girls love or yuri light novels, but we are getting some. It'd be great if we got more. There are also slice of life and just, you know, comedy, humor, sort of series, things like bottom tier character Tamazaki-kun. There's all sorts of things, and I think that's actually I think there's a variety of reasons why light novels really appeal to our readers here in the States. The first is the easy one. It's connected to manga and anime, and there is a huge interest in manga and anime and video games here in the States, in the West. That's the easy answer. But I think there's more to it than just that, because not all of these light novels have manga and anime adaptations that are accessible in the United States. Some of them do actually have manga adaptations, but they haven't been brought over yet. I think it's a conversation that I've seen pretty frequently on librarian Twitter. Like, I wish there were shorter books for my kids. I wish there were humor books for high schoolers. I wish there were things that were a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more this or that. These books tend to actually kind of fit into the needs that American publishing isn't quite, or American traditional publishing isn't quite answering for teenagers. And it is a genre of novel that really appeals to boys. To be completely frank, I don't generally like to gender books, but it does really appeal to my male readers. They like Sword Art Online. They like That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. There are male protagonists. There is a level of humor. There's a level of kind of dealing with a male character going through romantic situations. It's a sort of experience that doesn't really get published very much in traditional YA publishing. And I think that is kind of an answer. Bottom tier character Tamazaki is ultimately a series about a gamer who is socially awkward, and he has a very difficult time socializing with normal people. He thinks that life is just not as good as video games. But through connecting with another gamer who is a girl who has considered life to be a game that she wants to win and kind of dominate, and therefore she's become popular and made connections with other people. He starts to make connections with others and form attachments with other people. And ultimately, there's actually like really great almost SEL lessons that are taught through there. It's a lot of like, how do I socialize with people? What is the value in socializing with others? And it also has the draw of having like cute girls who are on the covers and in the illustrations, but the actual message and the actual story is probably about things that a lot of my boys have anxieties about and can really relate to. So I think that is one of the reasons why light novels have a certain power. And bottom tier character Tamazaki-kun doesn't have a manga adaptation that is accessible in the States at the moment. I assume Yen Press is working on that. The digestibility, the speed with which you can read light novels. I myself really like to read light novels. I don't necessarily always have the bandwidth with all the things that I have going on to read like these big fantasy epics or things that I may have once read, but a light novel I can read fairly quickly or read on the go. It doesn't feel as stressful to me. They're just so digestible. For me, I really like light novels and Korean web novels that are romances, and there's just they're kind of fantasy romances, and to me, I really enjoy that genre. I find it light and fun. I've talked before about how one of my favorite series is Mariel Clarac, which is published by J Novel. Also Bibliophile Princess, which is getting an anime adaptation, so maybe we'll get Bibliophile Princess in print. That would be great. These are two stories that are not isekai, that are just about young women living in kind of fantasy worlds who are just kind of having life experiences and romances, and they're very sweet and lovely. Mariel Clarac is very funny and entertaining, because the conceit of Mariel Clarac is that she seems to be a very plain and boring girl, but actually she is secretly the most popular romance novel writer in her world, and she is using her sort of quiet persona to pluck out all the secrets of society to use in her romance novels. And she winds up engaged to somebody very important, and she spends most of her time fangirling over him. And it's a very fun sort of thing. So these stories are just, they offer things that you don't get here in the States. I don't know. The publishers that you can currently get light novels from, I've mentioned Yen Press. Yen Press has their own imprint for light novels, Yen On. They publish a lot of Kadokawa material because Yen Press is a partnership between Hachette and Kadokawa. They also have a dedicated audio imprint, so that is something that, in terms of accessibility, I think is super important that we have an audio studio for light novels. It makes a big difference, and they're slowly adding more and more titles. Audiobooks obviously take time, but it would be great to see more and more added because, like I said, accessibility is huge, and the more accessibility that we have to light novels, the more people will be reading them. So Yen Press is a major publisher. Other publishers are Seven Seas, Viz Media, Kodansha. Mostly what they're publishing are things that used to be published by Vertical since their acquisition of Vertical. One Piece Books, J Novel Club, Cross Infinite Worlds, Soul Press, and Bookwalker has published a few things. Bookwalker is also a unit of Kadokawa. They are actually Japan-based, but they have a global site. They're kind of a marketplace for light novels and manga and other such things. That is personally where I buy my digital material, with the exception of J-Novel titles, because I have a membership to J-Novel, because J-Novel actually has a membership where you can read books that are in the process of being published, and you can also read a selection from their catalog each month where you can read things that have been published so you can kind of catch up. So for me, I find that really useful because I can know what's coming. I can kind of get a taste of series that I may not necessarily try for myself, but my students might be interested in. If I want to know if it is what my students need at the time, I will take a look at it. Almost always it is. The main thing is it going to be available on print or digital? I am primarily purchasing print at the moment, although probably next year I will do a blend of print and digital. Yeah, it's just kind of a way for me to know what's going on, know kind of the scope of things, and J-Novel puts out quite a bit. A lot of what J-Novel publishes goes digital first, and then judging on how popular it becomes, they then move to print, based on, popularity, and other factors. So there are a wide number of titles that you can obtain for your library. Some recommendations that I have. First off, I highly recommend the light novel series 86. It is a sci-fi series about a world in which there's kind of a war going on, and there is one group of people who live in relative luxury and don't really have any awareness of the world, and then there's a group of people who are constantly fighting the war in these sort of mechanized units. And the female protagonist is a girl who has been tasked with commanding a unit of these soldiers remotely, and just kind of her relationship with the unit that she has formed, which is the 86. And it is an actually very interesting sci-fi examination of things like class and mechanized warfare, and a lot of questions of morality get brought up in 86, and it's really, really worth it. It has a really good love story. And it's not isekai, it's just, this world is what it is. I highly recommend it. I've mentioned Bibliophile Princess. It is about a young girl who loves books, and she believes that her fiance, who is the crown prince, isn't really interested in her, and she is kind of ready to step aside because there have been all these rumors about her, but things kind of unveil in a certain way that you realize that feelings are perhaps different than she probably perceives. It's just a very sweet sort of love story, and there's the bonus of she really loves books. A classic light novel series that is mecha based is Fullmetal Panic, which is about a soldier named Sagara Sosuke who is tasked with protecting Kaname Chidori, who is a young high school girl in Japan who does not realize that Sosuke is a soldier until their plane flying to their field trip is hijacked, and she quickly finds out that who she thought was just this military otaku nutball is actually a first-class soldier tasked with protecting her, because she actually has secret ancient knowledge of these giant mechs locked in her brain. It has a combination of like super screwball comedy and very serious contemplations of modern warfare and military weapons. So it kind of oscillates, and it's a really fun read. A very popular isekai is My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. This is about a protagonist named Katarina Clays, who one day bumps her head and realizes that she is actually the villainess in an otome game. An otome game is basically a dating simulation game where you try to romance different characters. Well, she realizes she's the villainess and that she is doomed to either die or be sent away to a penal colony. And she quickly works on dismantling her doom flags. And it's a very fun story. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite isekai, if not my favorite isekai. And finally, another favorite of mine is The White Cat's Revenge is Plotted from the Dragon's Lap, which is about a girl who is Ruri, who is transported from modern day Japan into a sort of fantasy world, not through dying, but just through almost like a magical portal. She is summoned along with a group of other people from the modern world, and one of them is her friend, quote unquote, who the people of this new world think is like the priestess and has all these wonderful powers, and they actually kind of cast Rory into the forest because the friend kind of has this obsession with Rory. So Rory winds up kind of in the forest, taken in by this older woman, and then it's found out that she's actually like favored by the fairies. Things kind of lead one thing to another until she gets this bracelet that actually allows her to transform into a white cat, and somehow she winds up with the Dragon King, and just things kind of go from there. It's a really lovely series. Fantasy elements. These are kind of my favorites. I'm going to give you a list of recommendations. There are many other series that are available, and they have all sorts of different genres, different things going on, and you know, just kind of look into them. Most of them are very, you know, easygoing titles. Sometimes the covers of light novels might look very titillating, but the contents within are honestly not very titillating at all. It's just kind of the way it works. The cover is there to entice you to buy it, but really nothing happens inside. So that's kind of something to be aware of. The cover is kind of a bait and switch. If there's anything that is kind of explicit, it will always say that it's explicit on the cover. So that's all I have to say about light novels right now. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me, and I will see you in the next video.